Welcome to this, our first podcast, which is called Awaken to Yourself. And this is series 1, episode 1. Series is the life shift, where we're going to walk through the 12 modules and kind of break them down a little bit from the course called the life shift with the internalist way. Episode 1 is tune into your unique frequency. My name is Fiona Christie, and I'm joined by Diane Clark Manley, and we're your podcast hosts. Let's dive into it.
Hi,
Hey,
Fiona.
this is exciting. First podcast, and we've kind of been doing a bit of research about what we want this podcast to be, how we want it to come across, and really it's, as we discussed before, informational, yeah?
Definitely. We know the power of shifting lives to the way we want to live, the life we want to desire. So we're excited.
Yeah, so you're going to see a mix of us, and we're going to also share our screen because we've got some exciting stuff that we want to share with you. And then we'll come back on when we've finished sharing what we want to share. So let's dive into it. I'm going to share my screen now so that you can see what we're going to talk about. Okay, so as I said, we are talking about the Life Shift, which is a course that I created a few years back, and it's got 12 modules. So this series is going to have 12 episodes, and we're talking about tuning into your unique frequency. And if you don't know what the frequency is all about, you're going to soon find out. So let's move on to the next slide. Okay, I'll talk about this one maybe. Oh, actually, Diane, do you want to talk about this slide?
Well, Fiona had created the modules for the course, and then as we've progressed during the year, we've come up with all these aha moments and the roadmap. So creating a roadmap, which is in the course, but we've got a nice visual here, which is the start and the topics of the whole course together. And yeah, and it's an exciting way to navigate your life. Life is full of ups and downs, and when we fall off the track or off the road, it's really good to have a toolbox where you can come back to, and it's unique to yourself. And that can bring you back to the straight and narrow kind of thing.
And we'll break it down. So I'm going to go to the next slide. So this episode, we're talking about, and I think you can probably see my blue arrow here. I'm unsure. This is our first go. Bear with us. So today we're going to be talking about internal vibration, which is and what we're trying to do is build an awareness of your own vibration, and you're going to learn how to shift it. So we'll go on to the next slide. The first step to living life the internalist way is to understand internal vibration. It is the starting point of your roadmap to optimize your life, navigate around obstacles, realign whenever you veer off course. And we want to really, really hone this in, which is there are no mistakes, only mistakes with an opportunity to realign. So the first topic we're going to talk about is that we all vibrate at our own unique frequency. In fact, everything in the universe has a vibrational frequency. So you, me, the plants, everything, just like you radio waves, but I'll be telling you about that in a minute. So I'll just stop sharing now, and Diane and I are going to talk about this topic. So we all vibrate at our own unique frequency. Yeah. So Diane's going to ask a question, then I will.
Ooh, well, what's your take on what this means to you, Fiona?
Yeah. So I guess much like, well, I like using the analogy of the old-fashioned car radio with the dial, that you used to use to change the channel. And I've still got one of those in my car, although it has got like the push button thing as well. It has got the dial. It's really annoying because the dial is on the right side and the volume is on the left, further away from the passenger. So I keep turning it, thinking I'm turning the volume up. And then I change channel. And the channel that I like to watch, 90.9 or whatever it is, that I like to listen to, it's really hard to find again. So what happens with vibrational frequency is that if you don't, so it's like when you listen to a radio station and you're off, you might hear static. You'll hear it slightly, but it's just not quite there. Or you might not hear it at all. And that's like what we are when, our frequency is off. So let's say, I don't know, I wanted to meet the man of my dreams. I don't because I've got one, but let's say I did. And so I had this idea that I wanted to meet someone with ripped abs and he goes to the gym and he's, a millionaire or whatever. And let's say I was a couch potato and really was struggling with money, then our frequency doesn't align and it's unlikely that I'll meet that one. So it's kind of like getting them together. What do you think, Diane?
Well, yeah, as Fiona knows, I come from a science background, so I, yeah, there's a lot of things that I love spirituality and the sciences. So for me, it's from a cellular point of view, every atom vibrates, and so
Yeah.
our whole self, our whole one shell of ourselves vibrates at a certain frequency, as you said, Fiona. So it's innate in our world. So when we can get two things vibrating at the same frequency, we have coherence as well. That's that whole thing, isn't it? That whole, we're on the station, we're both on the station, we're not off it. So that's another way to think about it.
Yeah. And we're going to kind of break this down. So we'll share a little bit more about it in a sec. So I'm just going to share my screen again. So we all vibrate at our own unique frequency. So you are unique in the frequency that you vibrate at. The next point is that like attracts like. Positive feelings vibrate at a high frequency and negative feelings at a low frequency. Again, there are no mistakes, only mistakes with an opportunity to realign. So let's have a chat about that one then. And I realized we didn't share the first screen that we were going to, but we're going to share it again. Talk about it then. Right. So again, like attracts like, positive feelings vibrate at a high frequency and negative feelings vibrate at a low frequency. Do you want to chat about that one, Diane?
Yeah. So in that sense, that if you're having, maybe you're frustrated or maybe you're angry, they would put that frequency as a low frequency. And then if you were happy and joyful and full of love, your frequency's up here. So there's definitely a whole range of different frequencies, particularly that are around emotions. So yeah, like attracts like. So if you have a high frequency of love and you're another person with that high frequency, you're going to attract.
And I think you really need to protect your frequency, like look after it as well. And that's so, like whenever kind of, we all have times where we might be feeling a bit down or things aren't going quite right. And, I'll just get up and take myself off for a walk and I'll change that frequency by looking at what I'm thinking. What was I thinking when that frequency went down? What do I want to think now? And there was something else I was going to say about that. It's gone, but it'll come back, I'm sure.
And
So,
I'd, I was just going to interrupt there, Fiona, because the other thing, you know, we hear about it so much these days is EMFs, these electromagnetic frequencies. So we've got our own internal vibration, but we've got these external vibrations going on that influence us as well. So
Yeah. And you really want to be mindful of that. You know, I wear some protection at all times, and, you know, just be mindful, you know, that the frequencies do affect us and other people's frequencies. You know, we can quickly go down if we're not careful by surrounding ourselves with people that have a lower frequency. So that point popped into my mind, and it'll come back in a minute because it's right there, but I'm going to share again. Okay, so the more you feel into the experience that you desire, the more you will align with it. I love this part. This is my, you know, joy place. So I'll stop sharing and let's have a chat about that one. So the more you feel into the frequency that you desire, the more you will align with it. Oh, exciting. I'm going to go. So, I just know that, like, so people ask, well, how do I feel into that frequency? Well, one way to do that is to close your eyes and envision yourself already there, but envision it, you know, like it's an empty promise. If it's so, let's talk about affirmations a little bit. So affirmations are positive statements that you say to yourself as if they were true. However, if you say it to yourself without any feeling, like, um, oh, I don't know, oh, today's going to be a lovely day. Today's going to be a lovely day. Well, for a start, that's going to be, not is. But if I feel into, oh my God, isn't it an amazing day today? You know, my whole being, I can feel chills because it just, you have to sort of have that feel into. One way you can do that, I love Tony Robbins, love him or hate him, but, you know, he is what he is and he's done some amazing stuff on the planet. So one strategy he uses is to look up and smile. You cannot be sad when you smile. So look up and smile and say what you want to say about this positive, you know, feeling. Anyway, have you got something to add to that?
I have my mind is being triggered by back to science, but it's a noted fact now that your
Yeah.
feelings influence your biology. So
Yeah.
when you're feeling happy and that whole thing of going, oh, it's such a lovely day, or, you know, this is the man of my dreams, or whatever it is, your thoughts directly influence your biochemistry. And so these chemicals, hormones, whatever you like to call them, are put into your bloodstream and flood through your bloodstream. So there's that whole thing of that physicality of what happens when you feel into your emotions. You feel that lightness, that
And I'm
brightness, because
gonna
it's
add to that too, that you may or may not be aware, but there are actually three brains. So you've got your brain in your head that people know about, you know. You've got your heart brain and you've got your gut brain. And your gut is where all your immune system lives and percolates. Your heart brain is really about how you feel, right? And then you've got your head. Now, they say that the gut is the first brain, the heart is the second brain, and the brain, you know, as we know, is the third brain. So really you want to feel into that heart brain for this one. That's just wow. I mean, I've done the heart math stuff, you know, and that's an amazing way to do it. And really what they're doing is feel into your heart brain, you know. Yeah, exciting. Good sense chills. So let's get on to our next topic. Of Do you want to read this one, Diane?
so if you want to change your outcomes, change your point of attraction. How you feel needs to align with what you think, say, and act upon what you're thinking and saying.
Yeah.
And that's just in my thinking, that whole thing of if you do something where you go, oh yes, I'll help you out, or yes, I'll do something. And then that other part of you is saying, actually, I don't want to do that. So you're not aligning.
Yeah.
And yeah, there is so much that
I love
we,
Louise Hay stuff around this too.
yeah,
You know, she goes, oh, I'm trying to think of it, you know, like you might say, I should visit Aunt Mary. And then Louise would say to you, why should you visit Aunt Mary? Oh, because I said I have to. And then she'd say, repeat after me, if I really wanted to, I could visit Aunt Mary. So you repeat that. And then she goes, so why don't you? And the real truth comes out. So the thing is, you might feel obliged to do something, but why not do it because you want to do it? Like, do you have to visit every day? Do it when you're feeling up, you know?
mm,
Change your point of attraction, because what happens is, um, in the internalist way, in fact, there's a story about positive Pam and negative Nancy. And negative Nancy spills the milk. You know, she wakes up, oh, it's raining, it must be a bad day. God, today's going to be a bad day, right? And then she kicks her toe on the end of the bed, and she's left the washing basket out instead of putting it away, and she trips over that. And then she spills the milk, and, you know, so it goes on. And your day goes from bad to worse, because like attracts like, right? You change your point of attraction. Whereas positive Pam, she wakes up going, oh, today's an amazing day. I can feel it already. Da 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 da. She might trip over the washing basket, but instead she says to herself, oh, that's right. I forgot to put that away last night. Okay, note to self, do that. You know, like it just doesn't spiral. So they attract
mm,
completely different circumstances. And you can read more about the story in the actual course, The Life Shift with the Internalist Way. So let's move on to the next one, which is, it all begins with observation. And I've developed something called the thought wheel, which we're not going to talk about today, but observation is at the top of that. So you observe, then change how you feel when you're not attracting what you desire. So in a way, I'm going to stop sharing here. This comes down to you being your best detective. Yeah. So I think it kind of says itself, you know, you've got to be aware.
mm. Yeah, mindfulness awareness is crucial. I mean, that's the biggest thing here. If you have no point of reference, if you've not ever thought about it as well, you've got nothing to compare it to. So if you
Yes.
observe yourself, um, oh, I'm going to say, yeah, getting angry because you kicked your toe on the bed
Yeah.
end. If you observe that, then you've got a point of reference to come back to. Also, when you shift your thinking, and then you observe, oh, actually, that was good because it reminded me that I was meant to be doing something, and instead I
Yeah.
was going off to do something else. So I'm sure we can all relate to that. Mm,
And observation is just, I mean, you know, I call them downloads. I got a download last night, and so this is really something that I've been waiting to come in, which will be our tagline now, which is, we teach people how to create a deeper connection to themselves, and therefore, um, they will be able to, I guess, manifest all they desire. So it's really that deeper connection to yourself. This is what this series is about, really. Well, this is what the whole podcast is about.
mm,
It's
mm.
very exciting.
Yeah, I mean we're living in a time now where our biggest power is within us. So why
Mhm.
not tap into that instead of being
Yeah,
focused on this external world? You've got it all within. You are the
that's why
guru.
we're called the Awakened Guru, because you are it. You know, don't put anybody up on a pedestal. Sure, it's information, but you're the guru. You know, everything you need is within you. We're only made up of what we think, what we feel, what we consume, what we expend as energy. You know, there is nothing else. Let's go on to the next one. Diane, do you want to have a spin at this one?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
many paths exist. And actually that takes us right back to there are no mistakes, it's only
Yeah.
mistakes. Everything is an opportunity to learn. So many paths exist, and it doesn't matter which one you take. It it's how you feel about the path you take that matters. You can always change how you feel and or the direction that you're taking if it doesn't feel right. There is everything's a road where if you take the wrong road, it's not the wrong road. You just take another road and you change tack again. What do you think,
And
Fiona?
also, I think it's also important to point out, I like that. And then it goes, I think the next part of that is that, everything that you have is your best life. Because if you can't feel into that now, you're not going to get anything else. The universe, well, we will do a whole episode on gratitude, but, we want to talk
Mm,
about that here really. And be grateful for what you have and what you don't yet have. Even the beat up old car, be grateful that it gets you from A to B. Then you will get more of the same. Just,
mm,
yeah, I've got chills, so I know, you know.
yeah.
Yeah,
And it keeps you in the present moment too. When you start to be grateful for what you have, you're right here, right now, living your life, whatever it is. There are opportunities and there are bonuses. And
yeah.
then we can use that kind of vision to what we also want to bring into the future.
And I'll just point out I have a snoring dog in the background. It's just started to snore. Anyway, and also it's not to beat yourself up, like we're not perfect. We're not, we have days where it's like, oh my God, but we've got this toolkit so we can remember, when we get to a point, we've got, oh, so whenever I live my life in this way, it just works.
Mm,
So although I created this a while back, I didn't go out to the world with it until kind of really recently because I still had some stuff to shift myself. And we'll talk about that in another podcast. So I'm just going
mm,
to share the screen again and we'll go on to the next slide. This was the slide that we shown at the beginning, but I missed it. So
mm.
putting it all together, we'll just read this in tandem, I think. The first step to living life the eternalist way is to understand internal vibration. It is the starting point of your roadmap to optimize your life, navigate around obstacles, realigning whenever you veer off course. And here's how it works. We all vibrate at our own unique frequency.
Like
You want to
attracts like. Positive feelings vibrate at a high frequency, and negative feelings at a low frequency.
And the more you feel into the experience you desire, the more you will align with it.
If you want to change your outcomes, change your point of attraction. How you feel needs to line up or align with what you think, say, and act upon.
And it all begins with observation. Observe, then change how you feel when you're not attracting what you desire.
And of course,
And
many paths exist. And it doesn't matter which one you take, it's how you feel about the path that you take that matters. You can always change how you feel and or the direction if it doesn't feel right.
there are no mistakes, only mistakes with an opportunity to realign. So this brings us to talking about something that you can go and have a look at, which will help you even more on your journey. It's called The 3 Secrets to Avoid Shoulda, Woulda, Coulda, and I'll be happy when. So are you tired of repeating the same patterns in your life? Do you wish your life had a consistent flow? Well, we've got 3 secrets for you. So you can avoid shoulda, coulda, woulda, and I'll be happy when. So claim your free spot at the life shift. I realize there's a mistake in there. Oops. Life shift insights webinar. 3 secrets to attract what you desire. So you can watch the free webinar at theawakenedguru.com/free webinar, the life shift. Now we'll put the link into the comments, notes, or whatever, so that you can see that there. And that brings us to the end of this episode. Let's have some closing words. This was exciting doing our first podcast.
Absolutely. And it is exciting because we've learnt how turning inwards works for us, and sending out that whole thing of new toolboxes. We can create our own toolboxes that are unique to us. So becoming your own detective in our next episode will be, it's really interesting to know what we can do for ourselves.
And I think too, just that there are no mistakes, only mistakes. Okay, we've made some mistakes on this podcast. There's a typo, there's a blah, blah, blah. But if we wait till it's perfect, it may never, ever happen, you know? So the thing is, act first and the feeling will follow, I guess, or feel into that feeling. And here we are, we've done it. Well done.
Woohoo! Thanks for
Us.
listening to the end.
Yeah, we will see you soon. Hope to see you on the next episode. Bye for now.
Bye.